CB on the mic. World Rule Talk. Yeah. CB break it down, yeah, the host with the vision. From the classics to the new, every film get precision. Obscure reels hitting gems, yeah, we dig in the vault. Every frame get examined, every angle we talk. From the old school grain to the high def shine. Indie flicks to the hits, yeah, we cover all time. If it's cinema gold, then you know we gon' say, hit subscribe, tap in, let the critics all play. Yeah, film talk strong, never fading away. World Rule Talk forever and a day longer.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy once again, C. Dot to the B. Dot, coming at y'all with another movie review. As we enter into the last stretches of April, aka April Fools, I intentionally saved this movie for last. It's a classic. It came out in 1992. This is one of those films that I grew up with because Kid and Play were big. They were on top of the world back then. And that movie is Class Act. So, I don't know how many of y'all have seen this movie from now or then, you know, but I'm pretty sure everybody who's watching this video or anybody that's subscribed to me here on YouTube, which I appreciate every last one of y'all, I do, um, has probably seen this movie. And it's one of the funniest movies to come out of the 90s. I would even say it's funnier than House Party 2. Because House Party 2, for me, it's a comedy, but it has a lot of serious elements to it. It's the most serious one out of the three films. But this movie right here, it's more of a tongue in cheek film, you know what I'm saying, than the House Party films. Because the whole premise of the movie is that Kid and Play, who plays Duncan and Blade in this film, they have their files switched. But the way they're switched, it's really impossible. You know what I'm saying? How they got switched. But the principal thinks that, Duncan is Blade, and he puts him in the remedial classes, and he thinks that Blade is Duncan, and he puts him in the advanced classes. So now they're both in the predicament where they have to be each other. You know what I'm saying? Blade has to pretty much pass all of his classes, and Duncan has to get through gym. You know what I mean? But spoiler alert, by the way, too, even though this movie came out in 1992, they both are successful at passing, their respective classes. So there's a lot of gags in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Well, one gag in particular that stands out to me. You got people constantly getting slapped in the back of their head. Like that right there will piss me off. Like if it's one thing I can't stand, it's somebody slapping me in the back of my head. Now that happens a lot though. It happens with Blade kept doing it to Duncan, and Mink, played by the legendary Tommy Ford, rest in peace to him, kept doing it to this character named Wedge. And so the comedic elements in this movie are hilarious. Y'all have to watch this film if you haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, these two guys, Kid and Play, they were on top of the world, man. They had three albums, Two Hype, Kid and Play's Funhouse, and Face the Nation. And then they had a cartoon that came out in the early 90s, even before the Hammer cartoon, you know what I'm saying? The MC Hammer cartoon. But yeah, so as like I said, there's a lot of familiar faces in this film. You had the girl who had the crush on Blade, that's Hillary from Fresh Prince, you know what I'm saying? Karen Parsons. And then you had the girl that had the crush on Duncan Penderhughes, you know what I'm saying? That was Ricky's baby mom's from Boys in the Hood. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, when she was in this movie, I think she was only 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? So she was still a kid. And I don't know if that was a common thing, excuse me, for actors and actresses to play in movies, playing certain parts, back then. Because I know one movie that stands out to me that had questionable scene was Blank Check. You know what I'm saying? Everybody caught that one. But nah, so again, in this movie, the comedy was gold. You know what I mean? From start to finish. And the one thing that stood out to me in this movie was the scene where, Demeter and Duncan, they were in this restaurant or whatever that Blade and his girl came to. So these three dudes tried to punk out Duncan until Demeter told them that, he was basically Blade Brown. And so they all backed off. And one of the dudes, well, two of the dudes I was familiar with. You know what I'm saying? You had the one guy that was in hey, what was he in? He was in something. What was he in? I don't know. Sometimes I be, when I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Like when I'm on the I don't know, but when I'm on like point or when I'm on a spot or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I be trying to recognize, like put faces with names and all that. I don't know, man. It's but the other guy though, I do recognize. That's Pootie Chain, you know what I'm saying? But yo, the scene was funny because like I said, Duncan he punks all three of them, and so they run out the restaurant. You know what I mean? In a panic. And so then he tried to, test his luck with the real Blade. And Blade was about to take his head off until, his girlfriend, Hillary, that's what I'm gonna call her in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Stopped him. But yo, if you haven't seen this movie, man, yo, you gotta check it out, man. The comedy, like I said, is freaking gold, man. Fun fact, by the way, too, Play, he's actually 2 years older than Tommy Ford was back then. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Ford was about 27, 28, and Play was about 29 to 30. You know what I mean? But these two, they always played high school students. Well, between, House Party and this movie, but they was always playing characters in school other than House Party 3. But yeah, man, if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch. It's on YouTube. You can watch it free with ads, unfortunately, with ads, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? And fun fact, by the way, too, another fun fact. Um, Kid and Play was originally supposed to be in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but they turned that down. And Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff was supposed to be in the House Party franchise, but they turned that down. So basically, the two groups got switched. When I first heard that a few years ago, I was surprised. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm like, yo, I was trying to imagine how that would look. I know things would be different though. Excuse me. The premise would definitely be different for House Party if those two were in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Again, if you haven't seen Class Act, make sure you go watch it. It's a good film. You know what I'm saying? A lot of familiar faces. Yeah, Polly Shore that popped up. You know what I mean? And also watch the House Party movies too. I did a review on those a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Class Act is one of my favorite films of the '90s. And if I got to give this movie a grade, I would definitely give Class Act without hesitation a 9 out of 10. Definitely. And that is my review for Class Act. And that is the end of April Fools. So make sure y'all come back next week and I'll have something else for you. You know what I'm saying? A game review or whatever. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for that. And I will talk to y'all folks later. All right. Peace.